Oh, I see her.
Send her a message.
My problem is I have no idea what to do with this.
Great thing about technology. While we're trying to get that set up, we're still, for anybody who's watching, we're still practicing physical distancing. You might not see everybody on your screens at home. I think the total count for Des Moines County as of this morning is 7 that have tested positive and have the virus, with the possibility of 2 more by tomorrow. Got from County Health today. Well, if she's on Zoom, one of you should see each other. You shouldn't be seeing each other.
Well, if the PowerPoint's up, you're not gonna be able to see on full screen. You're not gonna be able to see Zoom because the PowerPoint's over it unless that's on her screen.
Is there a PowerPoint?
Well, that might be
That's
that's on her screen. Fine.
On her screen.
Should be able to
Should be, could be, would be, but I don't know how.
Something changed.
Just have
Change that,
Kathy.
Andy.
Brad's on.
Just want to give the presentation.
You want to go, Kathy, or over to the committee?
A little unprepared.
Oh, yeah, it's on the projector.
Yeah, we can't hear anything.
She needs to unmute.
Or she's got us muted.
She needs to unmute herself first. That's how we've been doing it with.
Right. That's what Brad just said. She needs to unmute.
I just am texting her that. She was just simply.
I think I can hear her now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And can you see the slides
Yes.
up? Okay. Great.
Oh, we can't. Muted herself again.
No, I think she's okay.
Will you let us know when to start?
Anytime.
We're ready for you.
Oh,
You can
you can go ahead and get started. Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. This is Kansha Tiwari with Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Commission. And we are here to talk about the Greater Burlington Bike and Pedestrian Plan today evening. And this plan is in collaboration with City of West Burlington, City of Burlington, and Des Moines County Conservation. And I have Steven Stransky here with me. I will let him introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Steven Stransky. I'm a regional planner with Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Commission. Started there about 2 years ago. Here we've worked with Concha on the plan since the beginning of the plan, which we started in last summer. We've been working on it since then, so happy to share with you all what we've been working on.
Mhm. So we will get ahead and talk a little bit about the agenda for tonight. So we will begin with the purpose of the plan, why we are updating the plan at this point, why do we need this plan, and then we'll go a little bit into the public input analysis, because that was something that we pretty much worked on throughout the planning process. And we'll talk more about this when we go in, but we did hold steering committee meetings. We've had stakeholder meetings, which were more one-on-one. We've had several public meetings, and then we also handed out a area-wide survey just to gauge more input from the public. And then we'll kind of wrap it up and talk a little bit about what the conclusion was, what we actually got out of this entire public input process. But we're mainly here tonight looking for input on the proposed network from the council members. And we have short-term priorities for West Burlington, I think an overall long-term, short-term goals for the greater Burlington region. So we're looking for input from you on what the priorities the council sees in the near future, and then we will talk a little bit about next steps and basically what we plan to do from going ahead. So the purpose of the plan is that we're trying to create a strategic plan, and when we say that, it means that we're looking at a 5 to 10 year time frame. So this would be something that we would have to go back and reevaluate within that, after maybe 10 years from now. So this basically gives us guidance on short-term goals as well as long-term goals within that 5 to 10 year time frame. Of course, the main focus of the plan is to develop a bike and pedestrian system, which is well connected within all of the greater Burlington area, and something that will focus on building a safe, well-connected, and easily accessible network, be it sidewalks, be it trails or wide sidewalks, or be it on-road bicycle facilities. So throughout this process, we had to come up with a vision statement of why we are doing this plan. What does the big goal for this plan looks like? And like I said, we're looking at that 5 to 10 year time frame. So by 2030, the Greater Burlington bicycle and pedestrian system will be easily accessible and well connected. The system will allow the residents, of course, as well as the visitors to walk, run, and bike safely to key destinations in the Greater Burlington area. So that's the overall vision for this plan. Now, we just wanted to talk a little bit about why we need to update this plan at this point. And this is not the first time that we are updating the Greater Burlington Bike and Pedestrian Plan. We did this back in 2013. That was the start of the plan. And it did have the priorities listed in the plan itself back in 2013. But the cities and the county had to take a step back and kind of reevaluate what had been accomplished since 2013 and maybe reevaluate the existing infrastructure. And we know that since 2013, West Burlington already has bike lanes on Mount Pleasant. They're already in place now. And then again, there's progress on the trail on South Gear Avenue that runs from Division to Westland Mall. So that's another one of the tasks that was listed in the 2013 plan that has been accomplished since then. And on the right, that's just a snapshot of the 2013 plan. Of course, these are the Mount Pleasant bike lanes, and on the right is the trail. I know they've made some more progress because I saw them working on the hospital side, and then I think it was last week that they started working on SCC. So we have pictures of that. Okay, so I think I've already mentioned this before, that the cities and county need to take a step back and kind of reevaluate the existing infrastructure. So we thought this was the time to actually do it, since it's been, over 5 years. Um, and of course, we need to again reevaluate and identify the priorities and location of future facilities. So the cities and the county actually know what to do going ahead. Um, and we also wanted, because we know that there's ongoing local planning efforts. So how does this plan actually, combine those ongoing local planning efforts? And of course, this document, once we have that ready, it would play a very big role in securing outside funds, be it, state, federal funding, or just private organizations to actually implement these, wide sidewalks or bike lanes or whatever that might be. So it would play a very big role in that. And then again, we did this Great River Regional Plan, which is like a long-range transportation plan that we actually update every 5 years. And the last one we did was in 2018. And what came up quite a bit was how recreational amenities are a regional priority, not just, at local level, but looking at it more at a broader level, at more regional level. This is something that, families and millennials are attracted to, and they would make the decision. This would influence their decision of moving to Southeast Iowa or to West Burlington if we had, well-connected bike and pedestrian facilities. So this was again something that kind of highlighted the role of bike and pedestrian facilities. So public input. So during the agenda, I kind of mentioned this, how we actually had a steering committee. We did stakeholder meetings, public meetings, and an area-wide plan. So we'll talk more about this now. So we've had this steering committee, which is made up of 5 to 6 people from Burlington, West Burlington, and from the county. So we wanted to make sure that there is an equal balance of age, gender, and geography when we actually, we're creating this steering committee. So we actually started reaching out to people we thought would make a good fit for the steering committee. So that was one of the, some of the factors that we were looking at to kind of balance all of that. And just talking specifically from West Burlington, we know that Kathy Christie, she's on the council now. She came for one of our meetings. She missed the first meeting because she was not on the council then, but she did show up for the second meeting, which was great. We got some input from her. And then Tyler Bolter is one of the residents of West Burlington, who actually has been very involved in the process, and he's been helping out, guiding the process and everything. And we met twice. One was back in November in 2019, and then we had another meeting with the steering committee on January 6th, and that was after we had received all the public input, piece tackled. We had the survey results and everything, so we wanted to go back to the steering committee to get some more guidance on that. And we were supposed to meet with them again at this point, but given the current circumstances, we couldn't do that. So we've sent out a draft to the steering committee to get more input from them. And I know that Kelly had that draft, so you probably have seen that. So that's something that we sent out. Apart from the steering committee, we've had stakeholder meetings, which Stephen and I kind of had like one-on-one meetings, just to understand what the plan should entail. So we've worked with Dan over at West Burlington. We've spoken to the city of Burlington. We've spoken with Des Moines County Conservation representatives. We've spoken with Greater Burlington Partnership. And then apart from that, just local bike shop owners who have, very active group of people in the community that they work with. So we wanted to gauge more input from them. And then Bike Burlington group, Stephen and I actually, went into one of their meetings because they meet every month. So we went into their monthly meeting to kind of present, and, ask them for ideas. Like I said before, we've had one public meeting in Burlington, and then another one in West Burlington. So we wanted to be fair and give opportunities to both the communities equally. And we had a very good turnout. We had almost like 40 plus people. So we got some input from the public, again, very enthusiastic about bike and pedestrian facilities in the area, and they really want to see improvements and changes. It was pretty interesting because we were focusing more on biking and running and jogging, more like walking, but there were also people, who were more interested in skateboarding that showed up to this meeting. And Stephen actually put together maps for this meeting, and you can actually see them in the pictures in the background right here, just to show that overall vision. And, we wanted to let people, give them a chance to actually go to the maps themselves and kind of point out what kind of gaps they see, where do they see like the overall connectivity going forward, what are the gaps in the existing network and everything. So it turned out pretty good. These are the maps that I was talking about that Stephen actually prepared. On your left, you would see an existing conditions map that shows just on-road facilities. So when we say on-road, it would be like bike lanes or shared lanes within the greater Burlington area. So you can, of course, see in green right here, Mount Pleasant Street with the bike lanes that's existing. And it was pretty fun because we asked people to use their dots. So we gave them like tiny dots to work with. So the red ones would be, we told them that the red ones would mean, they don't see any on-road infrastructure anywhere. So they would put their red dots. For green ones, wherever they see, bike lanes in the future, we ask them to put those green dots in there. And then the blue ones for shared lanes. So we let them take the lead on these, go ahead and mark, wherever they see the missing pieces and where they want to see more connectivity. So they kind of like played around with that. And then on the right was the multi-use paths where they exist as of now. And then again, the same concept with the red dots, we asked them to put them where they do not see any multi-use path or sidewalk, wide sidewalk in this case. We will use this term interchangeably on wherever they see, wherever they do not want to see multi-use paths, and then greens again where they, envision seeing this kind of infrastructure. And it was, of course, US Highway 61 and 34 was something that people, put a lot of red dots on. Of course, it would not make sense to have, bike and pedestrian facilities on these. But they did talk about, creating that connection from West Burlington to Burlington, specifically from the hospital and the SCC area down to Crapo-Danforth Park. So that was something that came up quite a bit. People really wanted to accomplish, that connection between the East and the West, connecting these two communities again. And that connection with the recplex in between, which is well connected anyway at this point. But people did want to see, more connections, even if they're like going biking with their families and whatnot. They wanted to see that connection established. And then again, they brought up quite a bit about, just overall connecting north to southeast, kind of making that connection through West Burlington and how you can actually connect south here down to Spirit Hollow Golf Course, Huntwoods, from Flint Hills Golf Course. So that was something that came up again, and then again connecting that to the parks on southeast. Probably need some time. Okay. So this was what we presented at the public meetings, just the maps and that connection, overall connection from east to west, West Burlington. But apart from that, we did an area-wide survey, and I will let Stephen talk more about this.
So, we wanted to make sure that everyone had the opportunity to contribute their input to the plan, even if they couldn't make one of our 2 meetings. So we had a public survey up for about 8 weeks. It was posted online on many social media pages in the area, as well as hard copies were distributed to bike shops and to it was the Autumn Hills apartment complex as well, to make sure we got a diverse set of opinions from the community on what type of biking and pedestrian infrastructure they'd like to see. We had 246 total responses, which was very awesome to see. They reflected a wide range of ages, incomes, and there was a good balance between Burlington, West Burlington, and residents from the county, and a few from the Illinois side of the area. They come over here for work and for amenities. So we move forward here onto the next slide, Concha. So some of what we came to discover were we have a lot of people who are, bikers who are really interested in just riding on the roads, and they're fine with the system as it is. But there were a lot of responses from families with children, people who are new to recreation, who want to have safe amenities, well-maintained amenities for the area, that they can get out of their house and within a short walk or maybe a short drive have a place to go for recreation, or maybe even to get around the community if they have some more time, say from the community college to the recplex to do the sports that they participate in, or getting from shopping to parks and various things like that. One thing we heard consistently, which ties into a lot of what we see in the surrounding communities, is a loop system. Mount Pleasant's developing a loop system. Fairfield has a loop system fully done. And people want to see a way to get all the way around the community. Since we have quite a few multi-use paths and wide sidewalks and bike lanes, but right now they're all very interspersed and not connected. So people wanted to see connectivity between what we have, as well as trying to tie in a loop around the area so that we can get it throughout the whole community. Long term, people wanted to see something kind of similar to what Fairfield has developed, a loop that goes around the entire area. That's something that will take a lot more time, but if we want to develop interconnectivity between West Burlington and Burlington and the paths and trails that we have and things that are programmed to happen, I think it seems to be very, very doable. And we worked with the steering committee to refine what the public input was on projects to prioritize. This is a broader view for Burlington and West Burlington, some various projects that were prioritized by the steering committee. It's kind of small, but everything within bright yellow are wide sidewalks or multi-use paths, depending on the terminology you want to use. And we'll go into more particular in what West Burlington is. We're proposing West Burlington in the next slide. But you can see on a wider scale, greater connections between Westland Mall and Target and Crapo Park and Dankworth Park, which will tie into downtown Burlington based on what's being proposed for the Tiger Grant, as well as possibly tying into some future road work that they may be doing there. We wanted to also focus on getting the schools connected to the trails, since I grew up riding my bike to school and walking to school. I think it's something a lot of people want to do if they have a safe way to do it, as has been shown down by Edward Stone on Mason Road. So many more children are using the amenities and getting exercise and getting healthy. Building those further connections, focusing on biking along Mount Pleasant Street, getting that all the way finished through Burlington section, so that there's a full biking corridor in town, would be a huge advantage to the community. So moving on to West Burlington here, we can see what we are focusing on for this area is primarily just three things. One is getting a wide sidewalk along Agency Road between Gear Avenue and West Burlington Avenue. I know I've seen it, I'm sure you have as well. People are walking in the ditches or they're walking on the road. which are not to go to the shopping areas along there, going to and from possibly jobs even. And we want to make sure that everyone has a safe way to get around the community regardless of whether they're driving or walking or riding their bike. So I think that would be a huge advantage to that area, to the businesses along there. They could, have walk-up business, or as we've seen in these times right now, a lot of people are getting out of their houses and walking to get takeout and things, and having a wide sidewalk there would be a very good resource for those businesses, and as well as the public at large. Right next to it is we're proposing a wide sidewalk along South Broadway that would connect from Agency to the Recplex. One thing we heard was a lot of students, are trying to get to the Recplex for various events after school or from their houses up in the residential area of West Burlington. And once you get south of Broadway or south of Agency on Broadway, there are no sidewalks. The roads, pretty much how it was built when that area was country. It's not safe to go on. So I think it would really tie into the spirit of recreation and activity we're seeing in this area, to have a safe off-road ability for people to get to the Recplex and the bubble from the schools in West Burlington as well as the community up there. And finally, the third thing that we are prioritizing for West Burlington is a wide sidewalk north of the highway on Gear Avenue, going up to about Huston Street. Now this would continue this multi-use and wide sidewalk system that's developing all the way from Dankworth Park all the way up to the mall. We have a lot of people from your students who live in West Burlington and ride their bikes or walk to SEC. We have people who could do that as well to the hospital and to the shopping centers up there. And I think you've probably have seen it as well. People riding their bikes on this Gear Avenue. People weaving in and out of traffic as they're walking. There's a pedestrian crossing across the highway, but sidewalk is very small on the other side. So this would fully complete kind of a bigger system we're seeing, as well as tie into the, health and safety of the community. So this is, again, a very broad view here of, long-term goals. Nothing that we're proposing in this plan, but want to make sure we have documented just in case, there's ever funding that comes around, or for, record whenever we come back and evaluate this in a few years. As you can see in red, red is everything that's like future, and we haven't really gotten into much discussion of what type of facility it would be, whether it be on road or off road, but you can see as there's a greater preview from the public about a wider loop around the community, which the red, as the clickers going around can kind of show as possible routes for it. It would develop a pretty wide system that could be used for, recreation, for tourism. I think as we've seen from Mount Pleasant and Fairfield are two very successful and growing communities. And one thing they're doing is focusing on amenities and making the quality of life better for their citizens. So this would be something to tie into an initiative like that in the future, perhaps. Within West Burlington, it's pretty limited since this community already has very great sidewalks. And once we address some of these priorities, if those are priorities you want to focus on, pretty much West Burlington's part would be completed. As part of this longer term goal, it looks like most of the rest would be on Burlington and the county. But it would definitely advantage West Burlington to have this wider system to help tie into regional growth and attraction of people to the community. So our next steps that we're going to be doing here is seeking, we've got some input back from the steering committee. So we're going to be reviewing what we've got back from them, as well as what we hear from you tonight or in the future as we finalize the plan. And we'll be coming back to council, hopefully in person, if this thing subsides, for final adoption of the plan, hopefully within the next few weeks or couple of months, just depending on when we can get everything together and what the situation in the world is looking like. So, if you have any questions or wish to contact us, I think you have our emails and our phone numbers up here. We're pretty approachable on the SERPC website, or I'm sure you guys know how to give us a call. We are working from home, but our emails still work, and we can give you a call on our personal cell phones if need be. So. thank you very much for your time tonight. And I think if you have any questions now, maybe you could ask them, but I'd be happy to help you and thank you for addressing this issue in the community.
Well, Concha and Steve, can you hear me? Are you unmuted?
If I do that, it's them. Oh.
Can you talk to them?
Yeah, what do you want me to say? Hold on. Just a second.
Where's the phone?
No, just a minute,
It's not a phone,
it's just
it's
a matter of
off the
finding the
computer.
right button. Hold on. Bear with me. Unmute myself.
If you could put yourself on mute, I'm gonna
talk
for a second, but it's giving us a lot of back.
Okay,
Okay,
Hans.
Can you hear me?
They cannot talk to you right now because of the. But if you have a question, can we just thank them for doing that?
Yeah, I want to thank them, but I also want to ask what the timeline is to finalize. You can do that.
Hans wanted to know what the timeline is to finalize the plan.
So, we were honestly hoping to wrap this up by this summer. And honestly, we had a public meeting in April that we were supposed to organize, but now again with the COVID situation, we can't do that. So our next steps would be, like Steven said, we already have the comments from our steering committee, so we are internally reviewing the draft, trying to finalize that. So hopefully, our hope is to get this done within the next month or two max. We just want to make sure that we give a chance to everyone to kind of look at this, and maybe we'll post this on our Facebook page and ask, the city to post it on their Facebook page as well. I know that Dan has access, so we'll probably ask him to post it on Facebook and ask for public input, and maybe we'll give that, 2 to 3 weeks. That's the general time frame that we usually do that for. So I would say about a month or two max.
Okay, thank you.
That's what we're looking at.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anybody else have a question? Comment?
I don't think we have any other comments right now.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Are we disconnected?
She's ending it now. Yeah.
Okay, is there anybody that had citizen inquiries? Anyone wishing to address the council? Do anybody sending us any emails or phone calls that we've had in the last 2 weeks?
No, it's been going very well. People are very adapting well to the whole city hall being closed, so.
Well, I guess we'll go to a public hearing, which is to hold a hearing on request from EK Land LLC for the voluntary annexation of territory on Washington Road into the city of West Burlington, which is approximately 16.6 acres. And this would be Kenny Schwenker, who unfortunately passed away in the last 2 weeks, but his family is still wanting to proceed with the annexation and the development of that property. So this is just north on Washington Road, just right outside the city limits, about almost 17 acres. And they're going to develop some of that property into residential homes. So did we receive any comment?
No, I just talked to the engineer that's been handling both of the subdivisions for Kenny, and the family just kind of wants to keep moving forward with it. So after this annexation, it still has to go to the development board at the state level, so it's a little ways off still, but we'll wrap up our end of it as far as holding hearings and things like that.
Anybody Council make any comments?
Just one question on his other development. Are they moving forward on it too?
Yes, yes,
Both.
yeah. I'll close the public hearing. New business, which is to consider resolution approving voluntary annexation of territory located on Washington Road into the city of West Burlington.
So move.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Knightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 2 is to consider a second reading of an ordinance providing for the vacating and conveyance of undeveloped right-of-way within Roar subdivision.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion on that?
Our last notice from Dan was that we would maybe table this one, but now you're looking to move forward?
Yeah, because we've heard from the family,
Okay.
they might keep going that a little bit. It's kind of up in the air until we
Okay.
heard from the family.
Poncho's still on.
she's trying, I think she's trying.
There
to-
she goes. All right. Roll call.
Knightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 3 is to consider payment to Snyder Associates for engineering services related to the following project: wastewater treatment plant, lift station improvement project, $1,982.75. Water tower and booster station project, $11,950. Lemoyne County landfill lift station project, $13,650. And proposed Penn's Landing subdivision review, $146.
So move.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie. I don't know why I said you guys are sitting together. Christie. Crowner,
Aye.
Knightmeyer.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 4 is consider setting public hearing date of May 20th, 2020 on the budget amendment for fiscal year 1920.
So move.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Knightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 5 is consider approving memorandum of understanding with the City of Burlington for Division 2 of the 2020 West Avenue and Gear Avenue Doll Bar retrofit project.
So
This-
moved.
Okay.
Support.
Motion with support. Our cost share of that estimate is about $190,000. So,
Dan, did you have a,
A couple of points earlier
Yeah.
about some stuff that was 50/50. I've got an email into them asking about that. I haven't heard back yet.
are we approving that cost structure tonight? That appendix?
I think that's the cost estimate.
well, these are engineering estimates, so
Right.
we really don't know what the final cost is going to be.
It feels to me like we're maybe approving the split, though. And I've got an issue with 5 or 6 of those line items where we're taking 50% of the cost, where we've really only got about 30% of the project. It should save us 20 to 25 grand on that project.
Let me get that up here, Andy. Which one were you talking about?
Let me grab the sheet too here.
I see one of them right off the bat, where it's that the 4th one.
Yeah, so the construction survey, they've got us splitting that 50-50. Traffic signals, traffic control, flaggers, mobilization. But if you look at everything else, actual materials and time and those kind of things, it's all, 2/3 of it is on their side of the project. But then there's those 4 or 5 line items that they've split 50-50 with us. And I think those should be taken down to, 33%, 35%, somewhere in there. But that is actually a pretty big chunk of money.
I don't know if they'll have an explanation for that. I don't suppose there's a huge hurry to, I mean, we could table this for 2 weeks and by that time I'll have an answer. That'd probably be the wise way to take care of it, because they were gonna do the project and we were gonna pay them after it was all done, so, it's not gonna make much difference go waiting 2 weeks and and like I said, I sent it out right after I talked to you, so they had quite a bit of time to answer me if they wanted to, but I didn't.
And I'm in favor of the project. I went and drove the road earlier today. Obviously, doesn't look like a huge issue today, but you can feel that bouncing as you're going down that, especially as you're heading south. But those cost structures there, I don't really want to approve that tonight, and then get stuck with an extra 20 grand down the road.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts to table it, especially if you indicate that you're in favor of the project. I think that's really mainly what they wanna know, is so they can continue to go forward without, and knowing we're gonna be part of the project. If all we're doing is negotiating a few prices, I think we can just table it until we get that sorted out.
Is there a motion made already?
Yeah, there's a motion
And a second?
and a second.
Want to withdraw that? Whoever made it?
I will.
Who made the second?
I did
Withdraw.
withdraw it. I'll withdraw it.
Okay.
I'll
We'll
make a
table
mo-
it.
I'll make a motion to table.
We'll need to.
Support.
It's tabled. Okay. Get some answers. Item number 6 is to consider hiring Jones Contract to make spot repair on agency in the amount of $5,000.
We didn't do a roll call vote on tabling it. Do we need to table?
What's that?
Do we need to do a roll call for tabling it?
No, I can
Okay.
table.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if we missed that.
I'll make a motion to approve number 6 with Dan checking with Mike on that question I had.
I'll see if that was part of that other project. I'm not exactly sure, but that's not that was, so, if I can have them go on a field trip and figure that out.
I'll second.
Okay, motion with support. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Knightmeyer.
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 7 is consider resolution adding Caitlin Caston to the fire department.
Can I add there, I didn't talk to Leslie to make sure she turned all of her paperwork into Leslie, so can we add a little pending that her
Pending.
paperwork is turned in?
Yep.
Motion to approve is amended.
Support.
Okay,
Oh.
I just wasn't sure. That's okay then. I just
I'll
wanted,
go back to my
I don't
original
wanna get in
motion
trouble.
then.
Support.
Motion with support, and all the paperwork is done. Roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Knightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie.
Aye.
Motion carried. Consider, item number 8 is to consider accepting a donation of an open plan trailer from West Liberty Food for the fire department training site.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Knightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
The motion carried. Item number 9 is consider resolution making conditional offer employment to Tyler Medler as for a police officer position.
Motion to approve.
Support.
This motion with support. Any discussion? I do want to make sure, did you get my email? That there's from this stimulus package, there's a burn grant available
Money in there? Yeah.
for police officers, so we want to definitely check that out. Okay.
That might be the paper's best or something.
Well, no, I think this is for, this is for like the 3-year thing, I think. Or it might pay for
Part of the salary.
part of the salary and stuff.
That would make Leslie sleep better.
That's why I would send it to you right away. All right,
We'll look into it.
roll call.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Knightmeyer.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 10 is consider purchase of a 2020 Dodge Durango for the police department.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion?
Jesse, you think this is something we should be doing right now?
To a point, yes. Looking at our current budget of spending on the repairs of the Explorers, it help us get one of those out of the line and help save money that way. And also speaking with Sean Kirk and with some of the plants closing down, they're not for sure when this will be built anyway. So he said the sooner we get it in, the better for trying to get it filled for our next budget year. So,
When would we actually get the vehicle, do you think? Any idea?
he does not have a time
Okay.
frame right now. He's under the understanding that it will be next budget year, after July 1st before we would pay for it. But he's just saying with all the manufacturers laying off and, going different ways of building ventilators and everything else, he doesn't have a clue. He just sent out a mass email to all the local departments saying, if you're ordering vehicles for this budget year, the sooner you get them in, the better you need it.
Yeah, of course, car salesman too,
Well, they do well for us. They help us out a lot. So.
I have a little bit of a problem voting to buy a new vehicle and then our next two votes being, obviously our citizens are having problems paying their bills right now. So I have a little bit of a problem doing that with that timing, even though I know we put this in our budget for next year and I was in favor of it. But
This is just one of the kind of the major ones where I'm talking to the mayor and Dan about it, but that obviously we'll have to see how things go on. There's plenty of other things in next year's budget that we can eliminate if we have to help offset any lack of income that we may get for the rest of the next couple of months, which could help us out too. Some line items that we can eliminate if we need to, and see how things are going. Yeah, we passed on the message to the department heads that unless it's an absolute necessity to wait until towards the end of next fiscal year to see what the situation is, but, with the police car and
This is the
you're
only
having,
vehicle we're buying, and if we're gonna have trouble getting it, it's probably worth doing. Especially if we can move some other stuff. We do a couple of transfers to their equipment account too for vehicles, so that's something we can skip doing it. Push things up, so. There's money to move around to make that better if there's an issue with that.
okay, thank you.
any other? Roll call.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Knightmeyer.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 11 then is consider resolution approving extension of grace period for March utility payments due to the state public health disaster emergency.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion?
So I see on the current bill that penalties are waived. Is that what we decided to do? That
Well, we did for now, but I mean, we could have always added the penalty on if you didn't want to do this resolution, but since we were printing out the bills, we just kind of held off on adding it onto the bill for now.
well, because I had people ask me why there wasn't a penalty, and I said, well, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that's also now through the proclamation that the governor's ordered that you,
That was my recommendation to
Yeah.
all the utilities to try to help customers, so.
That was pretty standard with what people were doing.
Well, thanks for passing that on. Now we know. I told him call City Hall. I said, I'm the last to know anything. Call City Hall.
I will say, typically we do about between 7 and 10 shut-offs every month. And we work with people to make payment arrangements if they need to, and we do every month do that. We have 41 accounts right now that are past due and should be shut off. 3 of them have made payment arrangements. So we sent out another letter kind of reminding people if they're, you know, that we're here to work with them. We just need them to work with us a little bit and, you know, let it keep us.
$500 bill when the moratorium gets lifted.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be able to pay it and they'll get shut off. They try to keep up or at least make a payment arrangement.
I think we encourage them to even try to make partial payments if they can, or at least let us know what the plan is. I think that's fair.
I mean, how far back are they for a $500?
Well, that's
Or
if
not
this
yet.
goes on for 3 or 4 or 5 more months.
Or longer.
Go on for 5 months and you'll have if you're paying $80 a month, you're gonna have a $400 bill.
I mean, eventually it's all gonna end up being due, but we, you know, want to encourage them to at least let us know.
It sounds like something we need to start planning for, to have something in place. You know, when the world comes back, you know, the barber down the street's not suddenly going to have all that money.
Like I said.
It's gonna be busy though.
Really all we're asking is they contact us and let us know and we'll work through that. Because obviously we can stretch what they owe out over a period of time if they reach out to us and let us know what they can do.
Now, we've always bent over backwards to work with anybody. That's,
Yeah, it's just, they just need to work with us and reach out to us so we know what the plan is, so.
If we can,
Maybe we can
I
put that
assume
on
you're
our-
contacting them somehow, and
Yes, we sent letters directly to the people that were left.
Maybe we can put it on the website as well. A lot of people are on that Facebook and they make comments. They're like, are you having troubles? Call us. You know, it takes a lot for their dignity to say, oh, I can't pay it.
roll call on that one.
Oh, I lost my page. Waterman?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Crowner?
aye.
Hightmeyer?
Aye.
Lees?
Aye.
Motion carried. So item number 12 is a resolution approving extension of grace period for April utility payments.
So
Yes.
move.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Christie?
Aye.
Crowner?
Aye.
Hightmeyer?
Aye.
Lees?
Aye.
Waterman?
Motion carried. Anybody have any old business?
Are there any grants or monies with the monies that Congress approved for the city, I think we can go after?
That wasn't the thing you sent, that really was, that burn grant was really the only thing that applied to us. There's lots of stuff to put up homeless people and to buy hotels, to turn into hospitals and stuff like that in there, but there isn't a lot.
There's one other one that I got an email from the league this afternoon that the mayors are kind of upset, not just in Iowa, but this for the whole nation, from the National League. Some of that stimulus money is designated for just cities over 500,000. And, you know, the majority of the cities in this country are less than 500,000.
Yeah.
So they're trying to have I think there's going to be a call-in or a Zoom meeting, and you got to sign up for it because they're only going to let 1,000 mayors sign up for it. And you won't be able to ask questions. You need to present questions, and I think it's with the White House Chief of Staff, supposedly. So. Okay, roll call on that one. Oh, we already did that. Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.